Good afternoon, my name is Masai. Welcome to a 1 o'clock news update, and we start from Kakamega today, where there's been some trouble which has actually disrupted what was going to be the venue of the COVID-19 update today with the Health Minister, CS Kagwe. And let's get the details to that. The governor there, Wycliffe Oparanya's security team, clashed earlier today with a group of irate youth led by Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, who held protests following demolition of stalls near Kakamega Hospital. The demonstrators blocked the main entrance to the governor's office, where Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe was expected to pay a courtesy call and issue an update on the status of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Governor Oparanya's convoy was momentarily blocked and stoned by the rowdy youth, and it took the intervention of county askaris to let the motorcade proceed. The demolitions reportedly took place on Thursday night and were aimed at cleaning the environment outside the district hospital ahead of the CS Kagwe's visit.
Jana usiku. Mimi nimewaambia tuende pale fulani ndio wabomoe. Kuliko kutubomolea tu wa mama wa mabaki bure. Wamebaki tumelala nao nje.
Let's talk to our correspondent Zacchaeus Mwasame, who has been following this particular story. Zacchaeus, is there more than meets the eye on this issue? They're talking about demonstrations over the stalls being demolished. What else is there?
Mark, thank you so much. This is something that is huge and needs an in-depth understanding to know exactly what has been happening. But what we can tell you is that we have had the running battles between the rowdy youths and the county government of Kakamega targeting the governor. They were trying to get the audience of the governor at his office, but that did not happen. They are complaining that his team led to the demolition of stalls here. Just where we are standing, we are just outside the Kakamega Referral Hospital, where these stalls were brought down. And then also in town, there were several stalls that were brought down in what is said to be a way of trying to clean up the town. But it did not end well, Mark. We saw those youths, handling, trying to come in terms, coming into physique with the county askaris, trying to block the governor's convoy that was heading to Mumias. Remember, the CS for Health is here, Mutahi Kagwe is here, and he was to pay a courtesy call to the office. That did not happen because the youths had barricaded the main gate to the office. They are saying that the governor did not give a notice before bringing these stalls down. And maybe just a few minutes ago, the Senator Cleophas Malala, who was the ringleader in the organization of these demonstrations, was addressing a group of youths outside this particular facility, asking them, we are meant to understand that the president himself has made a call to the senator to call off this thing, because you remember the CS for Health is supposed to give an update on COVID-19 here at the facility. So we are joined with one of the Mambogas who was affected by the demolitions, maybe just to give us an update of what exactly happened here before the assaults were brought down. Mama, utaanza jina lako alafu tuelezee labda nini kilifanyika hapa. Angalia kule.
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Sara Hati. Sisi ni wafanyabiashara wa hapa kidogo kidogo, tunauza mboga, tunauza machungwa kidogo na ndizi. Sasa Friday Uziamba alikuja hapa akakupeleka ofisi yake, akasema tuendelee kuuza vitu kidogo, atakuna kufikia Monday atakuja kupomoa hizo vibanda. Sasa tunaongojea Monday kukuja jana, tukapata anapomoa vibanda na mboga zilikuwa hapa tulikuwa tumeshanunua zimelala hapo. Sasa hata mboga zimeharibika hivyo tu, hatuna mahali pa kuenda, amekoja kujua hapa, hata majo yenyewe ameweka hata mchanga, mtu asienda hata kujua peke yake. Kila kitu ameharibu, tunashangaa, kwani tunakosa nini kwa biashara kidogo?
Labda nyinyi mkupata notice na mlikuwa mnalipa ushuru hapa kwa sababu hili ni shamba la nani kwanza mwanzo?
Hii tulikuwa tunalipa kila siku, wanachukua 30 bob ushuru wao. Atafanya kazi bure, tunalipanga 30 bob kila siku ushuru wao.
Asante sana. We'll have to talk to another person who has been affected. Mama, majina yako kwa haraka haraka alafu tueleze.
Ni Joyce Msimbi Kea.
Angalia kule.
Joyce Msimbi Kea. tumekuwa na shida hapa. Kwanza nilipewa kibanda na Oparanya. Hiyo kibanda nilikuwa nalipia 1,000 per month. Wakakuja wakabeba hiyo kibanda ikarudi kwa county huko. Kibanda kurudi kwa county, nikaanza kufanyia tu biashara hapo nje. Asikuanza kufanyia biashara hapo nje, tena wakakuja wakasema jana hizi kufanya biashara hapo nje, tusifanye biashara hapo nje, tuangalie mahali pa kufanyia biashara. Nikamuuliza Odhiambo, sasa kufanya hivyo na tuko na watoto inakaa kule. Kuna wamama hapa ni wajane, kuna wengine wanajiweza kulipia watoto school fees kuhusu hii biashara. Hata mimi nilikuwa na mtoto university nilikuwa natoa kwa hii biashara 1,000 kila siku, lakini saa hii napata tu 50 bob. 50 bob itanikulisha kwa nyumba, itanifanyia vyote vyenye ninataka. Hiyo ni shida kwa
that's one of the mamas who has been affected here. So Mark, we are keeping an eye. We are told that the minister might decide to change the venue where he'll do the address because of this angry youth. But also, the senator who was the mastermind of this organization has called off that he has asked the youths to retreat and allow the minister to give his update. From here in Kakamega County, my name is Masai, and now back to you in studio, Mark.
Zacchaeus, stay safe. Sad scenes, of course, with the issue of social distancing required at this time. But we will be crossing over to Kakamega as soon as the Minister of Health starts the update on the COVID-19 situation, and we'll be getting the highlights to the other developments of the day from Zacchaeus Masame in that region. Let's go elsewhere to the Mara. And newly appointed Goodwill Tourism Ambassador for Kenya, that is Eliud Kipchoge, has toured the Masai Mara National Reserve in a bid to encourage both local and international tourists to support the sector. Ruth Sarmoe has also joined Eliud Kipchoge and the other stakeholders in this particular tour. And actually, she was meant to be speaking to Eliud Kipchoge at the moment, but he's held up in a meeting with the president. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's very true, Mark. I'm trying not to shout at the moment because a Zoom call is going on behind me where the tourism CS Najib Balala as well as the Narok governor Mr. Tunoi, together with Eliud Kipchoge, are talking to the president. So Eliud Kipchoge arrived some minutes before noon at the Serena camp in the Masai Mara Reserve to launch the national, to encourage Kenyans to join in and visit the magical Kenya, see how how beautiful the country is. And the message he is sharing with Kenyans today is that just as he finished Ilios 159 and he said no human is limited, today he's saying that COVID-19 should not limit us from seeing what the beautiful sights that the country has for us. So he's going, as Najib Balala also, we spoke with Najib Balala earlier on, and he is encouraging Kenyans to visit the country. He informed us that most of the lodges and hotels here at the Masai Mara are fully booked for the weekend. And the protocols have been observed, such as wearing of masks, sanitization, washing of hands. So most of the, even the staffs at the hotel are adhering to the COVID-19 regulations that they were given, and they have COVID-19 negative certificates. They've tested negative for COVID-19. So also, as the airspace has been opened for the entire world to come and visit the country, the CS mentioned that the business is ready to kick off for the country, and everyone is welcomed, and even individuals from high-risk areas are encouraged to provide a COVID-19 certificate, and when they arrive in the country, they will have to quarantine for 14 days. So we'll bring you more stories and more details about what is going on here in the Mara. Back to you, Mark.
I have to say, I envy you and the background, the serene background and environment that you are reporting from. Enjoy yourself, Ruth Sarmoe, and it's good to certainly hear that report that it is fully booked, at least that resort that you are at right now. And yes, she'll be giving us the highlights to that particular meeting the president is having with Eliud Kipchoge, the Minister in Tourism, and as well as the Narok governor at the moment on reviving the tourism sector. Let's go to a different sector now. The New Kenya Planters Cooperation Union has launched an aggressive aggressive campaign to revive it as well, wooing coffee farmers back into the fold. This follows a restructuring by the government that has now made it a parastatal in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Aiming to target coffee factories from the Mount Kenya region to deliver their produce, new KPCU has launched an aggressive campaign to woo coffee farmers back to the institution following its restructuring by the government. Farmers had cut ties with it 15 years ago after they failed to pay farmers for their produce. According to the new KPCU chairman Henry Kinyua, coffee factories from Meru, Murang'a and Kiambu counties have agreed to start selling their coffee to the parastatal. The chairman, who was addressing the chairman of various coffee factories in the county, said that new KPCU will operate with integrity to safeguard farmers' interests and improve their living standards.
From the independence ya kuwa kahawa yako itakuwa ile the top quality unauza ngambo or whatever unauza ile ingine hapa will give you the freedom you have never. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee the transparency and the efficiency you receive here. Nobody else can give you that.
According to the chairman, farmers will also be able to access loans with ease and would have money deposited into their individual accounts. Farmers are expected to receive an advance of 20 Kenyan shillings against every kilo of coffee delivered. KPCU, which previously milled farmers' coffee, is a wholly farmed-owned company with a membership of about 750,000 small-scale farmers represented through 300 cooperatives and 2,000 large-scale farmers. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Let's get into siasa now. Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka is now calling on senators to embrace dialogue in order to resolve the impasse being witnessed at the Senate over the revenue-sharing formula. Speaking at the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation offices in Karen, the Wiper leader says that the 2010 Constitution guarantees equity of resources and thus the Senate should work out a mechanism that will help the country move forward. Kalonzo is warning that intolerance is a worst form of dictatorship, saying there is need to significantly increase the share of the equalization fund so that those who might lose money in the final agreed formula be properly compensated through the fund. Speaking at a separate event, Livestock Marketing Council Chairman Dubata May said the senators have failed Kenyans by refusing to resolve the revenue-sharing formula.
Equalization fund iongezwe kimarudufu na subsidiary legislation inayohusu mambo haya yajadiliwe kikamilifu katika jumba la National Assembly na jumba la Senate, na hizo pesa 0.05% ziongezwe ili kwamba wale ambao wako na idadi pia ya watu wasione kama wamewachwa nyuma.
We expected senators to be people of very high integrity, elders, patriots, nationalists, who are not going to look at this country on ethnicity or region. But today, it is very unfortunate that our Senate could not agree on any formula on revenue allocation.
Cherangani Member of Parliament Joshua Kutuny has accused KANU Party Chairman Gideon Moi of perpetuating division among the Kalenjin community in Rift Valley. Kutuny maintains that the 2022 presidential race will be between ODM leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto. He, however, insists that his move to correct Gideon Moi, or at least critique him, should not be misconstrued to mean that he no longer supports him.
Tunataka kumweleza Gideon, huwezi kuchukua hiyo nafasi kuadhibu wale watu ambao, ama kupatia wasiwasi na kupatia vitisho wale maafisa wa serikali ambao labda waliandikwa na Ruto ama walionekana walikuwa karibu na Ruto. Hiyo sisi hatuwezi kubali. Na kama itakuwa ni mimi na Gideon kupeana talaka na ndoa kuvunjika kwa kutetea wananchi na maafisa walioko serikalini na jamii kwa ujumla kwa haki yao, mimi niko tayari. Wale wowote ambao wanajaribu bahati yao watakuwa ni wakusindikisha wao. Hiyo ndio siasa ya 2022. Na afua itakuwa ni mbili. Labda umpigie Ruto kura ama umpigie Raila. Tofauti kubwa ni moja tu ambacho itaweza kupindua siasa. Ni yule atakayewekewa mkono na Uhuru Kenyatta. Huyo tu ndio labda atashinda.
Some development concerns in the county government of Kajiado has introduced a law that will require all buildings in both rural and urban areas there to have a mandatory water harvesting and storage infrastructure. The new law under Kajiado Water Harvesting Bill adopted by the county requires those who intend to build residential and commercial buildings to seek approval for water harvesting facilities. The move comes as a result of continuous water shortage crisis both in satellite towns and rural villages as population increases, as boreholes as well and dams dry up. The law cuts across the county where communities in rural areas will be forced to fit water gutters in their manyatas. The already existing buildings have been given 18 months to comply, while those under construction have 3 months.
Because the population is increasing. For instance, the Kiserian Dam can no longer suffice Kiserian and Ongata Rongai and Ngong. Whichever type of roof you'll have, you will harvest at least 30% of your water, and it will go along to mitigate the water scarcity, because you will not draw water from your dam, you will not draw water from the boreholes, therefore refilling our water aquifers for the future, and also providing a current and a present solution.
Kwa vile tumekuwa na shida ya maji kwa hiyo muda yote. Mimi ni mkaaji wa huku kwa miaka mingi. Niko na zaidi ya miaka 15 huku.
Ikizingatiwa vizuri katika mji wa Kajiado County, italete maji na itatusaidia katika maisha.
Elsewhere, the eviction of people living in Daragwa Forest around Kirema Muruai area in Nyandarua County excuse me, have been halted until a multi-agency team surveys the area to determine the extent of the encroachment. According to County Commissioner Boaz Cherotich, this action has been informed by the complaints of the families involved who claim that they own the parcels of land that they occupy. Last week, the Kenya Forest Service repossessed about 100 acres of forest land in Nyandarua County that had allegedly been grabbed by a private developer. According to the head of Central Highlands Conservancy, Samuel Ihore, the private developer had fenced the land that is located at the Muruai Forest Block that is part of the Aberdare Forest land.
We have agreed with the KFS that they're going to send a surveyor from forest headquarters so that they can assist in identifying the actual forest boundaries. And therefore, even if we have individuals who have encroached into the forest land, what we are saying is that we are not going to evict them, but rather maybe wait for the report from the multi-agency team, upon which we will agree on the way forward.
This should come as some encouraging news. A Form 1 student in Okatekok village in Nambale, Busia County, is making good use of his time at home. The Friends School Kamusinga student has started growing collard greens, or what we commonly call sukuma wiki. He says are a great source of income and an activity that occupies his time. The young man, who's only spent 3 months in high school, is making at least 500 shillings a day in his new enterprise. He has urged other students to find alternative and meaningful activities to engage in while at home as schools remain closed. He recommends farming as it is the backbone of the Kenyan economy.
Shamba hii sio yangu, nilimwomba babangu ili nianze ukulima, naye akanipa. Nami hapa imekuwa ni kama kitega uchumi sasa. Kwa sasa hapa nafanya ukulima yangu, napanda hapa sukuma yangu, wateja wanakuja kila siku, siwezi kosa shilingi 500 kwa siku. Shamba ni kazi ambayo hautaji kwenda shule ndio uambiwe, hautaji kwenda shule, hautaji kuwa na certificate, hautaji kuwa na cheo ya kuanza ukulima. Hii ni kazi tu ambao unaamua tu nile.
Master Richard, thank you for that encouragement, not only to your peers, but your counterparts as well to us to think about it. You don't have to go to school. Na pia, ukulima si ushamba. We take a break at this point. I'll be back with more, including sports. Stay with me.
Introducing Ndovu Home Baking Flour and Ndovu Maize Meal, now in an attractive new packaging. Ndovu flours are fortified with vitamins and minerals to provide wholesome goodness for the whole family. Milled from a blend of the finest wheat, Ndovu all-purpose flour makes the most delicious chapatis, mandazis and all other pastries. Ndovu is readily available at your nearest shop. Ndovu Tosha.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Welcome back, and to the situation of the coronavirus pandemic in the continent. Over 1 million cases of the coronavirus disease have been recorded in Africa, with officials saying the real figures could be much higher. Nevertheless, countries are continuing the slow return to normalcy, doing their best to resume flights and school for learners.
Over 1 million coronavirus cases have been recorded in Africa. This comes as countries tentatively relax restrictions in a bid to bolster failing economies. South Africa accounts for more than half the cases on the continent. Just over 20,000 people have died of the virus on the continent, though the World Health Organization predicts this figure could be much higher because countries lack the equipment to test for COVID-19. In Rwanda, people caught breaking the 9 p.m. curfew or not wearing masks are being sent to stadiums for all-night lectures on the dangers of the coronavirus. Since mid-July, official figures show around 70,000 people caught breaking the rules had to sit through hours of speeches at local sports stadiums. Even as the pandemic worsens, some countries have taken steps to reopen their economies. South Africa has borrowed $4.3 billion in emergency financing from the International Monetary Fund. In Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, officials roam the streets reminding residents to wear masks and maintain social distancing. Meanwhile, students in Nigeria who are due to sit exams have returned to the classroom. In other news, Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has said he will return for re-election in October, confirming speculation following the sudden death of the ruling party candidate Prime Minister from a heart attack in July. Ouattara's decision will likely spark accusations of abuse of democracy under the country's two-term presidential limits. The 78-year-old has previously argued that a constitutional change has reset the clock, enabling him to potentially run again. Meanwhile, police fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters in front of Ivory Coast Election Commission. The demonstrators were demanding that former President Laurent Gbagbo be allowed to run in elections as well. Guinea's ruling party has nominated President Alpha Conde to run for a third term in the presidential elections in October, despite violent protest against him running again. Under Guinea's constitution, presidents may only serve 2 terms, but this year Conde pushed through a revamped constitution that opponents say was crafted to reset the term counter, enabling him to run again. And finally, a miner in Tanzania has sold a precious stone to the government for around $2 million, his second in almost as many months. The man became an overnight multimillionaire in June after uncovering 2 of the country's biggest Tanzanite stones on record, weighing over 9 and 5 kilograms, respectively.
Now into sports, Gor Mahia elections are currently ongoing, albeit in a different format compared to the exercise at Kasarani 4 years ago. The posts up for grabs in the virtual exercise are vice chairperson and treasurer. This is after incumbent Ambrose Rachir and Sam Ochola were elected unopposed as chairman and secretary general, respectively. The battle for vice chairperson is expected to be fierce, with incumbent Francis Wasuna against outgoing treasurer Sally Bolo, while Dolphina Odhiambo will face off with Dr. Crispin Okoth for the treasury position, or treasurer position, I should say. Voting is being done via secret code. More on this in the subsequent bulletins. Lyon survived a Cristiano Ronaldo-inspired comeback from Juventus to hang on and book a Champions League quarter-final against Manchester City. Leading 1-0 from February's first leg, the French side were handed an early penalty which Memphis Depay converted. That left Juve needing to score 3 times to progress. Cristiano attempted to do what he does best and almost succeeded in a comeback, scoring twice, including Agreement with UEFA over the next 2 seasons. If Wolves end up qualifying for the Champions League next season, they will only be allowed 23 players in their squad instead of the usual 25. Since Arsenal beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final, it means that Nuno Espirito Santo's side, who finished 7th in the Premier League last term, need to win this season's Europa League in order to earn a Champions League group stage place next season. And that's it for sports, at least for now, and indeed this bulletin. But we'll be bringing you the live update on the coronavirus situation in the country as soon as it starts, sometime in the next couple of hours. But let me leave you with something to laugh about to make your afternoon better. My name is Mark Masai. Thank you for watching, and this is Bullseye. Everything we do, so they say, is done with an eye on something else. A lot is being done in political circles, from just taking tea to lunches, as ugali eating sessions make a comeback. The Mulembe political class has learnt that the best way to profit is through others' folly. And as Emmanuel Juma reports on Bullseye, they're going at each other with the knowledge that one person's loss is another's gain. Enjoy.
Prayers. A bit of vocalization here and there.
Your Excellency, oh, Your Excellency, you are a son of a hero. You are a gentle giant.
And a recruitment of an able master of platitudes. The message has sunk in, and the man Gidi is ready for delegations.
I'm the Atoli and my colleagues for coming to visiting us here at Kabarak.
Kabarak is the new rendezvous. From Kajiado with love. And the song here must have been Oh Kanu Yajenga Nchi. Isn't that so, Atoli?
No, this was a courtesy call.
We sought an assessment of this visit from one Didmas Baraza.
Tarumbete kama ingelia jana. Mahali maiki kijana wa Marwa hako angefufuka na tena akufe tena. Kwa sababu ule uongozi mbaya ambayo wa Marwa alipambana nayo kila wakati. Uongozi ya mtu anaitwa Moi. Ndio jana waziri Eugene wa Marwa alikuwa ameongoza Waluya, wale Waluya bandia, Waluya bwege, Waluya wakumbafu. Wanakwenda kule kwa Gideon Moi.
Harsh, very harsh.
We had few political issues as well to compare what is happening in the country.
Ile akili ambayo Oparanya ametumia na Eugene kwenda kule kwa Gideon Moi, wao ni vijana ama ni wazee? Ni wazee. Mimi si ni kijana. Si mimi niko hapa. Nani mwenye ako na akili mzuri kuliko ile mwingine?
We have been hosted here to a very good lunch. We want to thank our brother and
Eugene, why don't you ask us some of these things?
Are we live? Don't worry, Governor. We saw and heard all that. The man on the street will say, the men of Mulembe watatuonyesha maneno.
Hii mambo yenye tunafanya sio maneno ya ubabe ama sio uongozi.
Wangamati bwana, nyenyekea wewe. We gave you these things and we are not asking you for anything. You can see even in dress and grooming, I'm more organized than you and yet I'm not in office.
Watu wanatafuta ubabe, sio hivyo.
Staying in the land of Mulembe.
Juzi umeona vile wamepiga rungu MCA mwanamke.
This is what he's talking about.
Mwanamke mnyororo. Mwanamke mwororo. Mwili nzuri, hata kimwaka maji inateremka yenyewe. Hata kama mimi ni askari na nimetumwa kuchapa msichana kama huyo, nikimwona sinamwambia rungu kando, give me your number.
Who says Luya men are not romantic?
Tamaduni yetu inaendelea na tumekeep distance, kila mtu ako na barakoa.
Even Wafula does not believe what he's saying. Something could be the matter. How do we find out?
Ukiona unaenda kwa public
bila mask. Hiyo ni symptom moja, ujue ya kwamba akili yako si nzuri.
Order, Senator Murkomen.
But it can be said the men and women of the Senate are of very sound mind. It started with confusion and ended in anger.
You did not attend that meeting. You refused to attend the parliamentary group meeting. Yeah, it's a fact. So therefore, do not come to mislead the House. Do not come to mislead the House.
Irungu Srungu had missed the target and he was livid. When he's bad, he is really bad. But when he's good, why these moods that keep spinning from one end to the other?
Mimi niliokoka, lakini kabla niokoke nilikuwa DJ.
And the DJ has been spinning a lot of late.
If for any reason that proposal will be defeated, we shall know there's no need for BBI.
So the handshake is not threatened?
It is not threatened at all by this process.
Politicians change positions so easily. Nothing compared to getting babies.
Mama moja watoto 18. Hii watoto 18 unasukuma watoto 18. 18.
But how?
Mimi nimeona nyumba ingine ya mzee mwingine Kipsigis watoto 12, lakini ukiweka mbao kwa kichwa hivi wanalingana yote. Size moja. Haiwezi enda hivi wote hivi.
And whose advice are they relying on?
Mheshimiwa, mnaambia watu wazaane, tafadhali Mungu atapiga nyinyi kiboko.
And then the big comparison on childbirth according to Naatembea. First, waheshimiwas.
Na akizaa anakaa huko akikunywa supu miezi 6 anaangaliwa tu. Tena anaenda hospitali, anadungwa sindano, anazaa vizuri, hata ingine anazaa kama amelala. Anaamuka, anaambiwa mheshimiwa, here is your bundle of joy. Ni mtoto.
And how about the so-called ordinary people, these ones?
Lakini yenu mmesema ni anduru, si ndio? Inaitwa bundle of misery. Mtoto anatoka, mtoto anatoka, mama ameshangaa, mtoto ameshangaa, maisha yanaanza hapo.
Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.